the worst team in the AFC East just arguably became the best team in the AFC East.
Hello and welcome back to the Clutch Points YouTube channel. I'm Ben.
My name is
Dante.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
I was going to
you're
introduce
welcome.
myself. I appreciate you doing that for me.
Okay. Today we're playing Is This True? And today's topic is this true? The New York Jets recently acquired Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're wondering, is this true? Are the Jets the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs this year in the AFC?
It's debatable.
It is debatable. Obviously, we know the AFC as a whole is stacked. I mean, you got Cincinnati, Buffalo, lost even the Chargers, Kansas City, the Jets, the Dolphins as well. But with the addition of Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, they finally have a quarterback. They have the Rookie of the Year on offense and the Rookie of the Year on defense.
Arguably, Breece Hall would have been the Rookie of the Year as well if he stayed healthy.
That's also true. They have a really good O-line. They've built a really good team. So is Aaron Rodgers the missing piece?
Well, I think one issue that the Jets have always had, and this is very obvious, is quarterback problems.
Yes.
They've never had a consistent quarterback. They've gone through the draft getting some guys that didn't pan out. Sam Darnold a few years ago. Now they're dealing with Zach Wilson. Benched him this year. Mike White had a few starts, and he was looking better than the guy that they drafted second overall.
Yeah.
So it was pretty obvious that what they needed was a quarterback because they have solid weapons. Like you said, they have offensive Rookie of the Year Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall, when he comes back from injury, he's going to be a monster like he was the first half of the year. Even Elijah Moore. I know there were some reports of him, being upset with New York and not getting, the reps, the looks that he deserves. But someone like Aaron Rodgers fixes that. And also, we didn't even know that the Jets also signed Lazard, his boy.
And they have Denzel Mims, who was also a second-round pick a couple years back, and Corey Davis as well.
Yeah, they're loaded with talent. They're loaded with talent, have a solid offensive line, defense. I mean, also a defensive Rookie of the Year in Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, Saul is a great defensive coach as well.
And they just
had
have
a good defensive season last
They have a
year.
stacked roster. And just in the division alone, just the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets in one division. I'm not even going to bring up the Patriots because there's no point in even doing that right now. But just that division alone is stacked. And, I mean, the Chiefs already had a tough road to get to the Super Bowl again, looking at their competition this year. And it just got the worst team in the AFC East just arguably became the best team in the AFC East.
And the thing with the Chiefs, too, the Chiefs just got worse. I say that with a grain of salt because it's still the Chiefs, it's still Andy Reid, it's still Patrick Mahomes. But there's no denying the roster got worse. They're losing Juju as of right now.
Yep.
Jerick McKinnon's also a free agent. They just lost Orlando Brown, and they signed Jawan Taylor to a pretty big deal to play tackle for them. Obviously, they lost Tyreek last season. Mecole Hardman's a free agent. So as of right now, it's MVS, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. Defensively, I mean, again, like their defense was nothing crazy. It was good enough to get the job done with that offense. It seems like the Chiefs every year are just going to recycle players and make it work. And I think that if you told me today the Chiefs and Jets are playing, I'd probably tell you that the Chiefs would win. But the Jets have 10 times the roster the Chiefs do. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, the Jets didn't need anything crazy at quarterback to be a better team.
Yeah, they could have gotten Jimmy G.
I mean, I had said earlier in the year, like if they had Jimmy G, like that's a playoff team.
Yeah, 100%.
The thing, I think the difficult part is Aaron Rodgers struggled in the playoff recently.
Will you blame that on age, or you just blame that on maybe disinterest?
I don't know, but like again, like it's the thing, like I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers have a Garrett Will. I mean, he's had Dante, I guess, so that's not fair of me to say. But like as a whole entire receiving core, I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers have a Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall, Tyler Conklin / Uzama,
And Lazard.
Like a full offense, a deep offense like that in a while. I mean, since like the Jordy Nelson days.
Sure, yeah, a long time ago. Going back to the Chiefs a little bit, I think after this past year, it kind of proved to me that as long as they have Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, you really can't rule out the Chiefs. And like you said, they're just going to recycle some guys, the guys that are on the outskirts that can't get decent contracts.
That's what dynasties do. That's what the Patriots did for the longest time.
Exactly. There's no really counting them out, but just looking at the Jets in the entire AFC, where would you think you could confidently rank
in the entire AFC?
That
is tough.
In my opinion, right now, I think that they can compete with the Bills for the top spot in the AFC East.
I don't think they'll touch the Bills. I think they'll be second.
I think they'll be ahead of the Dolphins for sure.
I like Miami's roster better than the Jets, but it's Tua at quarterback.
Health is the biggest
It's
thing.
not even health. I don't think Tua is good enough to
Still not a believer in Tua?
To be better than Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, fair enough.
Tua had a great year under Mike McDaniel. He looked a lot better than he did before. I mean, injuries aside, I saw him play healthy against the Chargers, who schemed against Mike McDaniel. They had done something teams had never done before, which was press Tyreek Hill at the line.
Mm-hmm.
And Tua had 3 completions at the half. He was like 3 for 14 or something at the half.
So
I think teams are going to recognize that. I also saw him throw 4 picks against Aaron Rodgers,
mm-hmm.
3 or 4 picks. So I don't know. Like I think I trust Aaron Rodgers more than I trust Tua with their respective rosters.
For sure.
So I think the Jets are a second place AFC East wildcard team. I think them and the Chargers are probably the 2 wildcard teams.
Okay.
Because I don't think anyone from the South is coming out as a wild card, and I don't think anyone from the North is coming out as a wild card this year.
So if we had to rank them, do you think Jets would be a top 5 team in the AFC?
I don't think, even if the Ravens have Lamar,
I don't
think they'll have a second place record that's better than the Jets' second place record.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess the Jets are a top 6 AFC team.
Because I'm looking at, I think they're better than the Dolphins. They're not better than the Bills. Out of respect, I'm putting the Bills, the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Chargers ahead of them. So I think that they sneak in right at that. They could sneak in at that. But like, even still,
like, I like the Jets roster better than the Chargers. I just think the Chargers will.
They have the roster put together already. We don't know what the Jets are gonna like. You know what I mean? As good as it looks on paper.
Like, I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers in New York yet.
Exactly. So
but I'm going off of like just knowing what Aaron Rodgers has been and what he is.
Fair enough
with that roster.
And listen, Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl champion. He knows what it takes to get to the championship. Obviously, he's had his ups and downs in Green Bay. He's had years where you expect them to make the championship. They don't. But listen, Joe Burrow's never won a championship. Josh Allen hasn't won a championship. Justin Herbert has not won a championship. All the teams that I would list ahead of them. So when it comes down to it, although the Jets, in my opinion, might just scrape the bottom of the barrel when it comes to top 5, they're a team that is led by a winner that can go into any playoff matchup and pull off an upset.
Has anyone in the AFC besides Patrick Mahomes won a championship? Russ.
Sure. Yeah, I guess just him. I'm looking at it now, and
it's just Russ. It's Russ.
That's
Mahomes.
Actually crazy. Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking Matt Ryan, but he never won anything. Yeah, unless there's a backup somewhere along the lines. That's Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, do you count like Jimmy G?
Yeah, no, I'm not really. Well, I mean, I guess
he wasn't
a starter. There was no other.
When he actually started, he never won a championship.
He never started in the Super Bowl. He I guess Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes are the only starting quarterbacks.
But even the NFC, there's only Stafford.
Yeah, I never really even thought about this.
That's the funny part about how much Brady Mahomes dominated the past decade is that there's only 3 other quarterbacks in the league right now that have won a championship.
That's crazy.
3.
I never even. Wow.
Right?
I wonder if more. Why aren't more people talking about this?
Because we have Mahomes, Rodgers, and Matt Stafford.
Okay, so the Jets being a threat to the Chiefs. At the end of the day, let's say, obviously, we haven't seen them play a game yet, but things go well. Salah's doing a fantastic job coaching Rodgers on that team. He's fitting with the receivers. Everything's clicking. Playoffs come around. Do the Jets have a realistic chance to actually make the Super Bowl, shock the Chiefs, and we'll just say go on to the Super Bowl? We won't say win.
I think it's unfair to ask that about any team in the AFC because it's so
wide open.
It is so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a coin flip because you can argue the Bills, you can argue the Chiefs, you can now argue the Jets, you could argue the Dolphins, you could argue the Chargers. Like there's so many teams in the AFC that you could, with franchise quarterbacks, that you could argue could make the Super Bowl because it's just going to come down to what happens in the AFC Championship.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But like to your question, like do the Jets have a good enough? Yeah. 100%.
We think so.
And they have a quarterback that can do it too.
Mm-hmm. I still think at this very moment the Chiefs are the favorites because they're the champs.
It's Pat Mahomes. He's always going to be a favorite.
He's always going to be the favorite.
All right, well, let us know what you guys think down below in the comments. Check out other videos on this channel as well as our other platforms. You can find us everywhere at Clutch Points. Any other suggestions you guys have, drop them in the comments. We love to hear your feedback. I think that's a video.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Peace out.